Here we go. The Warriors have officially announced their schedule for the upcoming 2025-26 NBA season. And I have a couple takeaways, especially when it comes to the start of this season, because it's not so much about who the Warriors are playing, it's when they're playing them. And what I'm talking about is the amount of back-to-backs. Overall, the Warriors have 15 back-to-backs this season, but it's the fact that a lot of them are crammed into the beginning of the season. And that could be a good thing. The Warriors don't leave California for the entire month of April at the end of the season, when obviously you need those older guys to have their legs under them. But I believe that the Warriors have to get off to a strong start this season. They cannot be in playoff mode from January, February on. They need to already establish themselves when it comes to the end of October, November, December, and by the end of the calendar year, feel like they know who they are as a team and what they can become going forward as well. So let's go back to the start of the season. We have known for a little while now that opening night is going to be Warriors, Lakers in LA. No surprise there that the NBA wants to drain as much of Steph versus LeBron as they can until the wheels absolutely fall off. The Warriors then will have one day of rest for travel before going back home and playing the Denver Nuggets in their home opener on October 23rd. But that right there begins the gauntlet of back-to-backs. The Warriors have 15 back-to-backs overall this upcoming season, but what really stood out to me is the fact that they have 5 in the first 17 games. And one of the reasons that really stands out to me is the NBA season can essentially be, split into a 4-piece pie, right? It's an 82-game regular season. So one of those pieces can be slightly bigger, 2 more games bigger, right? When we're doing the math there. And that's how Steve Kerr has always seen it, especially when it comes to the first 20 games. After 20 games is when Steve Kerr's always felt like he can kind of have a strong grasp on his team, a real honest assessment, get over that month, get to that 20-game mark and go, okay, this is who we are right now. This is who we can become. And in those first 20 games, the age of the Warriors is really going to be tested. In case you guys didn't know, yes, Steph Curry is 37 years old. Will be 38 in March. Jimmy Butler will be 36 when the season begins this year, and Draymond Green will be 35 when the season begins, turning 36 during the season, a little bit before Steph Curry turns 38. So my question then is, are those guys going to always play both sides of a back-to-back? If the Warriors do indeed end up eventually signing Al Horford, as we've always expected, will the 39-year-old Horford, will he play both sides of a back-to-back? Because he certainly wasn't doing that in Boston. So my assumption is no. So we go back to the start of the season. As I mentioned, October 23rd, home opener against Denver. But right after that, they bring in the Portland Trail Blazers, who will not be the same kind of, laughingstock dormant team, rebuilding team as they have been in the past. Their defense, the final few months of the season, was as good as anybody else in the NBA. They bring in veterans like Jrue Holiday. Yes, Dame is there. He won't be playing, though, at least not for a while. But still, you're bringing in more veteran leadership for the Portland Trail Blazers. Then, again, the Warriors get a weekend off, 2 full days, and then another back-to-back at home. So within their first 5 games, 4 of those are at home, but those 4 are sets of 2 back-to-backs. And then it's just 1 week off. Well, not, off of games, but 1 week in between starting yet their 3rd back-to-back. So that's already 3 back-to-backs within the first, week or 2 of the season? Pretty crazy. November 11th, the middle of November, starts their longest road trip of the season. It's a 6-game road trip. They have another 6-game one in March, so tied for the longest road trip of the season. The start of it, a back-to-back. The end of it, a back-to-back. The beginning of it, they start in OKC against the reigning champion Oklahoma City Thunder. Then the next night, they play the San Antonio Spurs in San Antonio, which the Spurs, watch out. If they can stay healthy, if they can put it together. We're talking about the health of Victor Wembanyama. We're talking about the health of De'Aaron Fox, the growth of Stephon Castle, the development of top draft pick Dylan Harper. The Spurs are going to be a team that we should have our eyes on all season long. And then that long 6-game road trip ends in the East Coast and the South with games against the Orlando Magic, another team with the East being wide open that can shoot. They might be an Eastern Conference championship team. Who knows? And then that ends with Jimmy Butler back in Miami against the Heat. That's how you get to 5 back-to-backs in the first 17 games. And then the 20th game, with our 20-game sample size, as we keep talking about how Steve Kerr assesses the beginning of the season. That 20th game is the 4th and final NBA Cup game of group play for the Warriors. And yes, of course, it's against Kevin Durant and the new look Rockets. It'll be the Warriors' first game against KD and these new look Rockets, a rematch of that great 7-game first round series. But now you bring in the drama of Kevin Durant. So, hey, TNT's out of the picture, but the NBA, they still know drama. A full breakdown of the first 20 games is the fact that the Warriors this year have 11 games on the road and 9 at home. Last year, it was, I believe, 12 road games, 8 home games. Overall, the Warriors went 12-8 in those first 20 games. This year, they play 16 total teams in those first 20 games. 10 of them made the playoffs. I'm not including the play-in tournament there. That is, it's a stepping stone to the playoffs. The playoffs are the playoffs. The play-in tournament is the play-in tournament. Simple as that. That's how I'm categorizing. So 10 of the first 16 teams the Warriors play in that first 20-game sample size were playoff teams last year. Overall, where are they going to be? What are they going to look like? What's the age gap going to be seen as, where you have your big three of Steph, Jimmy, Draymond, hypothetically bringing in an older Al Horford? What are you going to get out of, possibly having Jonathan Kuminga back on the roster, Moses Moody, Brandon Podziemski? How are those younger guys going to look with 5 back-to-backs in the first 17 games to really help out the veterans? 12-8 in the first 20 games last year. What are they going to be after 20 games this year? Let me know in the comments.